And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
If you're looking for the title of worst Spider-Man movie, look no further than Spider-Man Far From Home, a movie which so thoroughly mischaracterizes its central protagonist that he might as well be a whole new person. A movie which undermines not only one but two of the great movies that came before it. A movie made by people that I think either don't understand or don't really respect Spider-Man as a character. I'm not gonna go over this movie in like fine detail or anything, a bunch of other people have already done that, and to be honest, I don't even hate this movie. You know, it didn't break me, it didn't make me sick.
Yo, you're sick to my stomach, fam.
Far From Home is just a fun, throwaway MCU flick, but that's exactly the problem. I think that for a character as beloved and popular as Spider-Man, a character with such a strong history and rich source material, his movies should not be MCU filler. Spider-Man should not be reduced to a post-Avengers palate cleanser. You want to do that with Ant-Man? Fine. Captain Marvel? Sure, whatever. But my go, Peter Parker? Hell nah, man, we got a problem. Far From Home feeling like MCU filler and being so disposable is just a recipe for disaster. Everything in Far From Home is so weightless and nonchalant. Peter is just so happy-go-lucky about everything, which I'll get to in a second. But this happy-go-lucky, everything's fine vibe permeates the whole movie from beginning to end. The opening of the film is a high school morning announcements tribute to the fallen Avengers that died in Endgame, set to Whitney Houston. Bro, are we serious? This movie came out in July 2019, just 3 months after Endgame. A film that saw the end of Black Widow and Iron Man, two of the most iconic characters in the MCU, both in real life and in universe. The very first film after Endgame turns their sacrifice into an opening scene gag. Sure, the message of the scene is that they're mourning these heroes, but the way they deliver this information is to make it a cheesy high school morning announcement. Like, why? Undermining serious emotional moments with needless jokes is unfortunately an MCU hallmark, but it's so sad that not even Endgame was exempt from this treatment. You'd think that the first movie after Endgame would treat the film and its characters with a little bit more dignity and respect, but nope, the creators poke fun at it, so how am I supposed to take it seriously as an audience member? I've also never liked the way they immediately trivialize the blip and turn it into a joke as well. Thanos doing what he did should have been such a traumatizing event on the entire MCU. 50% global extinction done randomly in one day. All the people who died 5 years ago coming back to life should have been such an emotional and seismic moment, but Far From Home is like, isn't it funny that they came back and messed up the band performance? Isn't it funny that the younger kids are now teenagers? Like, bro, I can't take it seriously if the writers don't. But anyways, the main example of lack of consequences in this film is Aunt May. Her finding out Peter is Spider-Man at the end of Homecoming should have had a much bigger impact on both characters. There should have been some type of fallout or meaningful conversation to follow up this reveal. Can someone please explain to me why Aunt May is so chill and supportive about Peter being Spider-Man? Now, assuming Uncle Ben is a factor in this universe, which is up for debate, but assuming he is, Aunt May lost her husband to violent crime a few years ago. Then in Homecoming, she's super paranoid and fretting over the safety of her nephew.
The Spider-Man.
You spot something like that happening, you turn and you run the other way.
Yeah.
I called 5 of your friends. I called Ned's mother.
May, I'm
But
okay.
that's like
Honestly, just relax. I'm fine.
I know you sneak out of this house every night. That's not fine.
Peter, you have to tell me what's going on.
She wants him to keep his head down and be a regular teenager. She doesn't want him to get too wrapped up with Tony Stark. And above all else, she just wants him to be safe. So why the actual flip would she suddenly be so cool with him risking his life every single day as Spider-Man, confronting the same crime that she lost her husband to? The same crime that she specifically told Peter to stay away from.
You turn and you run the other way.
That was amazing.
That was great.
What? Disappointment.
Also, lest we forget, Peter fucking died. He acted as a superhero and he literally died. Now yes, he would have died from the snap whether he went to fight Thanos or not, but him going with the Avengers and losing his life in the aftermath of that battle should confirm to May that this superhero business isn't worth the risk for her son. Peter's death seems to have a much greater effect on Tony than it does on May, and I'm sorry, but that's just not right. Also, not only is she perfectly fine with Peter being Spider-Man, she's actively encouraging and goading him into being Spider-Man when even he doesn't want to do it. I'm just at a loss for words, man. Like, she's all like, yeah, Peter, pack your suit just in case you want to put yourself in grave mortal danger while you're on vacation. You could argue that Peter, being responsible, should pack his suit anyway, and I agree with that. But May shouldn't be the one on his ass to be Spider-Man. If anything, he should be the one convincing her to let him bring his suit. I have no problem with Aunt May discovering Peter's Spider-Man. I think the reveal at the end of Homecoming opened up great storytelling opportunities and a chance to really delve into that character dynamic, add some tension. Peter maybe has to convince May that despite the dangers of being Spidey, it's something that he has to do. But no, all the consequence that could have been there just evaporates into thin air as soon as we get to Far From Home. Aunt May in the MCU, especially in this movie, seems like she's really just there for eye candy, just to be ogled at by Happy Hogan and vicariously by the audience. And don't get me wrong, I can get down with some eye candy, but come on man, can I get some consistent character writing and character depth, maybe, please? Now, not only does this movie miss the mark with Aunt May, but it also misses the mark with Spider-Man. But before I get into talking about Peter by himself, I need to talk about Peter and MJ. Peter and MJ in this movie are such a nothing burger of a couple. Out of all the Spider-Man couples, they are easily the weakest pairing of the bunch. At the beginning of the movie, Peter is head over heels for MJ out of literally nowhere. To be fair, it's totally realistic for a teenage boy to have a crush on a girl one year and then the next year crushing hard on a completely different girl. I got no problem with that. Also, the dad of his last crush did try and kill him, so it's pretty understandable that he just moved on. But why does Peter's entire motivation in this movie hinge on MJ? In Spider-Man Homecoming, yes, he likes Liz, and of course he wants to talk with her and connect with her, but his primary goal is to stop the Vulture so that he can prove to Iron Man he's ready to be an Avenger. Whether you think that's a goal Spider-Man should have or not, you gotta say it's a very active goal, with the protagonist pursuing his mission for the whole movie. Liz is an important side character, but not the crux of Peter's motivation. Far From Home, Peter is so passive and reactionary. All of his goals are defined by what he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to be Spider-Man. He doesn't want to join Nick Fury and help Mysterio. He doesn't want to be the next Iron Man. He doesn't want the fucking glasses. And due to that fact, his only proactive character motivation is to talk to MJ on a bridge and tell her how he feels. In my opinion, that's just not a compelling enough goal for Peter Parker in a Spider-Man movie, especially because this version of MJ is so bland and one note. Zendaya does what she can, I guess, but the character is just derpy, sarcastic, snarky weird girl. She honestly feels like a side character I would see in a mid-2010s Disney sitcom. After 2 movies, her character gets almost no development. Who is she? What makes her tick? Why doesn't she have more friends? I know she's not meant to be traditional MJ, but the movie doesn't really give me a reason to care about her. Maybe she has a bad home life like original MJ, and instead of overcompensating by being an exuberant, popular party girl, instead she becomes an outcast and avoids people. In a way, this could make her even more relatable to Peter. But nope. Instead, we know little to nothing about her outside of just being a smart, loner, weird girl, yet the movie hinges on us wanting to see the two of them get together. Like, why does he even like her? Genuinely, why does he even like her? Why does she even like him? Why should I give a fuck? They also decide to have MJ discover that Peter's Spider-Man in the first movie of them being together. I mean, I guess bro. In this universe, it feels like almost everyone knows Peter's Spider-Man even before Doctor Strange does the spell. I'm not even upset that Tom Holland stole Zendaya from me. This isn't even about that.
It should have been me, not him!
I'm upset because this movie wants me to feel so cathartic and emotional at the end when they get together, while solely relying on the great chemistry between the two leads to carry said plotline. When they kiss at the end, it's supposed to be like this cute, wholesome moment, but I'm just like,
We do not care.
Tom and Zendaya obviously have great chemistry, but for me, that can't hide the bad writing and non-existent character development. And speaking of bad character writing, I'm convinced that Peter is losing brain cells with each passing movie of this trilogy. It's either that or the writers have amnesia, because clearly they forgot how he was written in Civil War and Homecoming. I've already made a whole video where I talk about Spidey in Civil War, where I discuss how he very clearly had already learned with great power comes great responsibility. He was already acting as a hero before Iron Man came into his life. He was already Spider-Man. But if that wasn't enough, Homecoming also continued this arc very well. The first movie shows at multiple points Peter putting himself in harm's way, turning down things that would make Peter Parker happy because of his obligations as Spider-Man. Why? Because stopping a villain as dangerous as the Vulture is his responsibility. Homecoming highlights Peter's naive and childish mindset because a lot of his actions are driven by the desire to be an Avenger, to be like Iron Man. He's reckless with his actions, and he has low self-worth. He believes external factors like fun Avengers missions and a high-tech suit are what gives him worth as a hero, instead of what's inside of him. And so the movie forces him to really embody that notion of great responsibility.
I just wanted to be like you.
And I wanted you to be better. Okay, it's not working out. I'm gonna need the suit back.
This is all I have. I'm nothing without this suit.
If you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it, okay?
It's not the suit, it's not proximity to the Avengers, it's him. When Peter lifts himself out of the rubble and stops the Vulture in his homemade suit is when he truly becomes Spider-Man. When he turns down the Iron Spider suit, he confirms to Tony and to himself that he's learned his lesson. He knows his role and he's embraced that role as Spider-Man.
I'd rather just stay on the ground for a little while. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Somebody's gotta look out for the little guy, right?
Yes, Peter is naive, he's a bit overzealous, but he no doubt has a good head on his shoulders, and he takes his role as a hero very seriously. Or at least he did, he used to, until this movie, where he suddenly is frantically scrambling away from his responsibility. Nick Fury, the former director of S.H.I.E.L.D., a personal ally of his late mentor Iron Man, and the benefactor of the Avengers, keeps urgently calling his phone, and Peter just ignores him.
Nick Fury's gonna call me?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because he probably has some hero stuff for you to do. You're a superhero.
If it was really that important, he'd probably call someone else, not me.
What?
You sent Nick Fury to voicemail?
Yeah.
He basically has to be forced into going along with Fury on some hero business. The second that Peter Parker learns that things could be serious and people could be hurt, he should want to act in any way he can to try and protect them, including allying with Fury, obviously. Also, by the way, I think I said this earlier, but it bears repeating, Peter has to be convinced and basically forced by Aunt May into bringing his suit. The possibility of him having to act as Spider-Man is applicable no matter where he is. He should know this, especially after Homecoming and Civil War. Bro was Spider-Man in Germany and DC, but Europe is a bridge too far, I guess. In a far superior Spider-Man film, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, there's a scene where Peter is thinking of moving to England so he can be with Gwen, but he doesn't just say, "I'ma quit being Spider-Man." No, he's like, "I can be Spider-Man in England. There's crime in England."
England, both of us. I mean, they got crime there in England. They got tons of crime, it seems.
Tons.
They got Jack the Ripper.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
This is the mentality that Peter Parker should and would have. Anyways, so Nick Fury and Mysterio, who at this point is still pretending to be a hero, are urgently asking for Peter's help. They need him to step up and be a hero with them against potential worldwide level stakes with these elemental monsters. And Peter's response is just so chicken shit. He's asking them why they can't take other heroes on this mission. He just wants to go on a fun vacation with his friends. Like, bro, did he forget between movies that he's Spider-Man? Some people would say that it makes sense for a younger, more immature Peter to just ignore his responsibility. I mean, he's just a teenager after all, he just wants to be a kid, but I disagree strongly. Throughout all of Homecoming, he consistently abandons his friends and classmates and ruins any chance of being with his crush because he has to be Spider-Man, even when he doesn't want to. Then in Infinity War and Endgame, he willingly joins the Avengers, who need all superhero hands on deck to stop a universe-scale threat.
You can't be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if there's no neighborhood. Okay, that didn't really make sense, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Far From Home Peter refusing to save the world so he can hang out with his classmates and talk to a girl he likes is grossly out of character, not only for Spider-Man in general, but also specifically this version of Spider-Man. And then we get to the glasses, the Edith glasses. The concept of Tony gifting this highly destructive, super military grade tech to a high schooler is just absurd. Why would he not entrust it to Pepper or Happy or Rhodey or Bruce? I mean, hell, maybe even Steve. But you know what, Chris McKenna, Eric Summers, I'll go along with this redonkulous idea if it serves Peter's arc in an interesting way. So what does Peter do with these glasses? Well, the first thing that he does is call a drone strike on his classmates. On accident though. I mean, isn't he such a goofy goober? But then he decides to give the Edith glasses to Mysterio, a hero barely anybody in the MCU knew about prior to this movie, and who Peter has known for just a few days. He takes this highly dangerous, important device given to him by his mentor and surrogate father figure and ends up just handing them over to the villain of the movie.
See, that wasn't so hard.
You serious?
Who is this fraud, bro? Who is this fraud? Because I'm sorry, bro, this is not Spider-Man. You cannot come up with a more clear-cut, great power, great responsibility parallel than Edith. The glasses are literal, tangible power, technology that can be used to take lives or save lives, something many power-hungry people in the world would kill to get their hands on, but it was entrusted to Peter. Just like his powers, he didn't ask for them. He didn't want it, but he was saddled with this power whether he likes it or not. He should know by now that with this comes a responsibility to use it properly and protect and guard it fiercely. Also, for sentimental reasons alone, he wouldn't give these away. I mean, they're literally Tony's glasses. Like I said, man, this guy is a fraud. He's like a cosplayer, bro. This is not Spider-Man. The Peter that got dusted in Infinity War is clearly not the same Peter who came back in Endgame, because this new Peter is, 1, incompetent, and 2, has forgotten the core ethos of his character and identity. Civil War Peter understood great responsibility. Homecoming Peter understood. Infinity War Peter understood. Why does Far From Home Peter not understand? I just don't get it.
Yeah, you might get it. He doesn't fucking get it.
I get it.
You might.
I get
He does not get it.
Iron Boy, Iron Man Jr., Spider-Boy. The level of slander for this version of Spider-Man back in the day was at a level hitherto undreamt of. And as a Civil War, Homecoming, and Infinity War enjoyer, I always thought these criticisms were kinda overblown. My thought process was that this was a Spider-Man integrating into the wider MCU. Of course he would be influenced by Iron Man and the legacy of the Avengers. It's not really that big of a deal. Connecting him to an established Avenger would differentiate him from both Tobey and Andrew, and maybe even add to his story. However, on that fateful day in the theater in July 2019, I finally realized they may have gone a bit too far in a few places. This is an Iron Man Jr. movie, it's not a Spider-Man movie. Peter is handheld through the story by Nick Fury, a character first appearing in Iron Man 2, who constantly tells him that he needs to step up and be the next Iron Man. The villain is motivated by a vendetta against Tony Stark. Like, hold up, bro, didn't we just do this? And the main MacGuffin is technology designed and gifted to the protagonist by, you guessed it, Tony freaking Stark. I have no problem with Tony's death and its effect on Peter being a major part of the story. In my opinion, it would be kind of weird if it wasn't. On paper, the idea of Peter struggling to find his place as a hero in Tony's absence and the loss of a mentor forcing him to step up and take on even greater responsibility is pretty interesting. It has strong story potential, but holy moly, Tony's shadow looms way too large over this film. Like, first off, I don't think so much pressure would even be on Spider-Man of all people following Tony's death. Like, why not Hulk? Why not Thor? Why not Hawkeye? You know, heroes that have been in the public eye as Avengers, protecting the world since before Peter even got powers. Do people outside NYC even know who Spider-Man is, or like, do they even know that he went to space with the Avengers? Peter throughout this movie runs away from being called the next Iron Man, despite spending all of his previous movies fighting alongside Tony, as well as learning responsibility. Would he be nervous and conflicted after Tony dies? Maybe, sure, but would he be this against stepping up as a larger scale hero? I just don't buy it. A major emotional scene takes place in the Netherlands right before the third act, where Happy tells Peter he's never gonna be the next Iron Man, but that's okay because Tony was also very flawed. Tony wouldn't have sacrificed himself without believing that Peter could step up as his successor, not as his replacement. But then the movie immediately contradicts itself by having Peter start building his Spider-Man suit just like Tony would, and Happy chooses to play Back in Black by AC/DC from Iron Man 1. It's just crazy mixed signals. So let me get this straight, like, the writers want to get across the idea that Peter should define his own role for himself as the first and only Spider-Man instead of trying to be the next Iron Man. And so to do that, they put him on Iron Man's jet with Iron Man's friend using Iron Man tech to build a suit using holograms just like Iron Man used to do, while listening to Iron Man's song, getting ready to stop a leftover Iron Man villain from enacting his evil plan using Iron Man's glasses. And this is the emotional crux of your Spider-Man movie?
Not a great plan.
After already learning to be his own hero at the end of Homecoming, having a story be once again so tethered to Tony's legacy just ruins Peter's arc. It's just pure character regression. And in general, why take a character like Spidey, who has the most iconic lore and stories of any solo Marvel hero, and basically make them a sidekick because that's what this Peter is. He spends his MCU films before No Way Home either teaming up with Iron Man or cleaning up Iron Man's messes. This Peter Parker feels like Robin to Tony's Batman. I can see a world where there's a Robin movie after Batman dies and Dick Grayson has to contend with Batman's legacy to see if he should or even could become the next Batman, or if he should define his own heroism for himself as Nightwing. And that would totally work as the story of a sidekick coming into his own. But Spider-Man has never been, and really should never be, portrayed as someone's pet project super kid sidekick. Treating him as Iron Man Jr. just does a disservice to both characters. Despite what I say in this video, I don't hate Far From Home. It's a fun enough movie, I guess. It has a few funny moments. I hit the little nose breathe laugh like once or twice. I actually like the final fight with all the drones and how he confronts Mysterio on the bridge. Him mastering his spider sense is pretty cool. The Spidey action in the third act in general is just low-key tough, I'm not gonna lie. But that cannot save the absolutely asinine character writing, character inconsistencies, lame plot, and silly tone that altogether just makes for a movie that feels like it doesn't really understand Spider-Man. There's another big MCU Spider-Man movie I want to dig into, but I'm gonna keep my cortisol low and just save that for a different day.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble.
If you like the video, and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, thanks for watching. It's your boy Exo Dash, signing out.